Thank you for your attention and welcome to this afternoon session. I'm Calvin Johnson and I've been asked to make some opening remarks, and that is a danger when you ask a retired person, a deacon, and all those things to make comments. But it is good to be here and good to have you here this afternoon. To Reverend Pointer, to Dr. Peters, Dr. Evans, Dr. German, to Stephanie Williams. I don't see Ms. Williams here, but there are others that will be joining us here on the podium, and also to all of the organizations, the agencies that help to make this conference what it has been for the last 2 years. I say thank you, and let's give those persons a round of applause. Now, one mistake that we always make, and that is to point out someone special, and it's okay. But today I would just like to recognize other very significant sponsors for this tobacco program and initiative, and that is the Arkansas Department of Health. So let's give them a round of applause as well. And I'm so happy to see I have a former Director, Dr. Havison, in the audience. Dr. Havison, we're happy to have you here. Yeah. And then from the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, Dr. Mira Benjamin, who is the Vice Chancellor there and has been a supporter for this program ever since we had it, Dr. Benjamin. Now, for those of you that were here this morning, you witnessed something that I just want to speak about. All of the programs have been great, but you know, you just had to be impressed with the energy and all of the participation that was afforded us by Mr. Mike Ellison and his group this morning. What about, thank you so much, sir. What about that youth nation that was here today? If you were anywhere in this building, you heard them down here. They were just fantastic. And of course, I think that's what we have to do. You know, by them being here, you know, it would take thousands of dollars to reach that many young people and to have the impact that was afforded them by being here this morning. So whoever, and to those people that made it possible, thank you for helping to get them here. And Mike, I like what you said about the culture vultures and our job to get rid of them, because they want our young people and we want them back. We want to keep them and they want to take them. So we do have a lot of work to do. If you've been here for the last 2 days, you have witnessed some changes in our program, some that we're very proud about. And when I say changes, you know, we started out several years ago with the clearing the air in communities of color. Just recently, a group of individuals had a vision that we could do more and that we needed to get at the root causes of addiction among minority groups. And as a result of that, we were able to establish the Minority Research Center at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. And as a result of that, we had the first symposium here yesterday. So let's give those individuals a round of applause. And thank you, Dr. German, for your leadership. We applaud the success of the programs and all of the kinds of things that we are celebrating here today and the things we celebrate when we get together. But we need to be reminded that the road to getting to where we are was not always easy. We've had some challenges. And of course, in my opinion, we have met those challenges. But we also need to understand that the road ahead might be a little bumpier than where we have come from in the past. Because those culture vultures not only have gotten smarter, but those individuals that care less about poor people than people we represent, they are growing in number and positions as well. So we have to be very smart. We're going to have to think smarter and do smarter to have the success that we need with our program. So again, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. And I'm also reminded by looking at my notes here that I'm the only thing standing between you and lunch. So I'm going to remove myself. We have some other individuals, and I'm sure there are others that will do that. but I just need to recognize two people that I see right here sitting before me. One is Senator Chesterfield. She tries to avoid me, but she's my friend. And I saw Representative Love, would you? And there might be other elected officials here, and you'll be recognized a little later. But I have a special relationship with these legislators for some reason. So thank you all for being here.
Take a moment and meditate with me on the goodness of our God and speak to God together. Gracious and loving, kind Spirit, you who are eternal, unchanging, we thank you for this privilege that is ours today to collectively use our influence, our community intelligence to help to rid our communities of the struggles of addiction. We know, oh God, that addiction is a stronghold that has captured many. We thank you for the progress that has been achieved through this endeavor, through the years and through this conference over these 2 days. We pray now for strength and for wisdom, for the power to fight until all are free. We ask for your endowment, for your precious Spirit to quicken our hearts, sharpen our minds, to strengthen our hands, to make us swift to respond, but also to be proactive, so that those who are chained would be free and those who would be chained would experience no such bondage. And so in these closing moments that are ours together at this luncheon, continue, please God, to give us the fortitude necessary to make a difference in these communities. We ask this for your glory and for our good. We ask this for the sake of those who are so enslaved, feeling hopeless and unable to extricate themselves from their chains. We believe that you are able. We believe that you are willing. And so we commit and pledge again ourselves to this effort. In your strong name we ask it. Amen.
Dr. Valandra German, and I have the esteemed honor of introducing our keynote speaker today. As we began to plan for both of the symposium as well as the Clearing Out the Communities of Color conference, there was one person that I wanted to be involved in this event, and that person is Dr. Ronald Peters, and we're so happy to have him here today. Let me take a moment to briefly introduce him to you. Dr. Peters is an associate professor of behavioral science at the University of Texas Health Science Center, School of Public Health. Dr. Peters has held faculty appointments at the University of Houston, Houston Baptist University, Prairie View A&M University, and Texas Southern Department of Health Sciences. He has also served as the director of the Historically Black College and University Applied Research Initiative with the Southwest Prevention Research Center and was the principal investigator of the Houston Arrestee Drug Abuse Monitoring Program funded through the National Institutes of Justice. Dr. Peters has published over 95 peer-reviewed papers in the professional literature and has received over $5 million in federal grants to investigate health behaviors among incarcerated and vulnerable populations. His research and academic commentaries have been featured on ABC News, CBS News, CNN, ESPN, Good Morning America, National Public Radio, NFL Live, US Today, and other national and international media publications. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Ronald Peters. Let's show him a warm Arkansas welcome.
Let's give it up for all of these beautiful sisters. You see the sisters in charge at this conference. And stuff is on time, you know what I'm saying? Everything's together. I just got a little song I want to put on for y'all. Is that all right? I'm sorry, I'm gonna have me some fun. Light, that's what it's all about. Not just in this room, but wherever there's God's light, there's light. God said, let there be light, and there was light. But before there was God's light, there was God's thoughts of light. So we have to be very careful with our thoughts, because it's the most creative force in the world. Before there was a conference, before we had this opportunity to get together, it was created with a thought and amplified, where all of us had the opportunity to get educated, to diffuse our information to communities, and most importantly, make a difference. This conference was great, and I appreciate the thoughts of my former student. And it was not too many African American students at the University of Texas, and she's one of the only to graduate with a doctorate, Dr. German. Let's give her a round of applause. Before we start off, I always like to be personal. Is that all right with y'all? I want to introduce my wife. This is Lucretia Peters right over here. We went up there, and this is our family. You see my dog, he likes to drink with the kids, and we have a good time. Kids' favorite team is the Harlem Globetrotters. And so let's talk a little bit. We're going to get into not only tobacco, but we're going to talk about other things and mix it up a little bit. And the sexualization of addictions, drugs. And since this is mostly an African American group, I wanted to talk about the thing that's a plague amongst us, an endemic, epidemic, and pandemic, which is HIV, and then talk about how these particular marketing of sexuality goes into addiction. Now, with HIV, of course, you've heard that we have a problem with it, but there's very few people that talk about why African Americans are at a higher risk of HIV. One of the issues is our social integration, social status integration, where compared to other ethnicities, African American and Latino populations are more likely to operationalize a village approach towards their social cultural interactions. And again, when you look at anybody from Pine Bluff, HBCU, yep. Howard University, wherever somebody says Howard University, somebody usually goes Southern University. There we go, Southern. And again, when you look at our homecomings, all of our activities, Essence Music Festival, you could have people that are right off the streets, or you could have, again, people that have doctorates. At our homecomings, at any of our activities, we don't stratify ourselves. But when you have other cultures, majority cultures, they may have ballets, and so forth, operas, and they stratify themselves by socio-cultural, norms and status. So people in our particular population would have, again, a mixture of people from high HIV profiles that mix with people from low HIV profiles at these events. Television, African Americans, males in particular, according to the CDC, spend 21 hours of television per week watching television. And again, some of the things that they see on television, the sexual different shows, whether it be, I know y'all haven't watched Flavor Flav before. Y'all good people, y'all educated. Y'all don't watch that kind of stuff on TV. All of these things are ridiculous, top-rated shows. I saw something called The Bachelor. Y'all ever saw that, Bachelorette? On primetime television, and you have 50 girls, and then the guy, after being 49 and kissing, this girl kissing 49 guys, you the one for me, that kind of stuff. So I couldn't do it. I wouldn't want to be 49 myself. But these are the kind of shows that they have on TV that kids are watching. Mental health status. You know, I used to be the director of the Arrestee Drug Abuse Monitoring Program. And in this program, I found that 75% of all prostitutes that would come into the Harris County jail system reported being sexually abused as children. And 85% were on crack cocaine. So there's an underground economy. Some people may say that they're different names, but sex workers in general, again, there's an underground economy where if you don't have health insurance and you're depressed for the things that have happened to you in your life, you go out and try to get stimulants to try to, of course, help you with your depression. Let's talk about something that people don't want to talk about a lot, which is the corporate American attitude of some of our urban and historically black colleges and universities. At some of our schools, we have an endemic of HIV. You know, you hear the little rumors. There's always a rumor. And some of these rumors at different colleges are true. But again, some of our administrators do not want to scare off tuition-paying parents by getting services at the university. There was an endemic at a school that's a small historical black school that I won't mention, that's in another state, that had an endemic of about 20% of HIV at their school. And they had to actually, they wanted the health department to come in, but the health department could not come in because, again, it may shut down the school with the economics. So do you keep the school open, or do you provide services that are needed for the kids? You know, y'all seen these people with their pants coming down, right? And again, y'all know where it came from. I went to, you know, the restaurant the other day, and I went to the restroom, and I saw somebody cooking with their pants down. And I said, let's get on out of here. I told my wife, we're not going to even go to this restaurant. But again, a lot of these things start from jail, these trends, whether it's Tupac or whether it be, you know, Jimmy Dean. For those who are a little older, we had a show, Grease. Y'all remember the T-Birds? That was my thing, the T-Birds, you know. Well, anyway, a lot of people think that heroes and so forth are people that are the good guys in the smart classes. But the reality is that many of the people that are the heroes in the communities, the risk takers, are people that have risk behavior. And a lot of the norms, whether it be some putting their pants down and so forth, it starts in prison. When I was younger, used to take our shoelaces out of our shoes for people of the 80s children. And again, all this started in incarcerated populations. And again, in certain studies have stated that the seroprevalence rate of HIV is high as 25%. So let's talk about some of the drugs that go along with sexuality. This is old school. This is the stuff that was some of the things that we grew up on from 1956, little pin-up dolls with Camel, you know. Of course, they're real. This is 2000 with Winston cigarettes. But now, again, you have got the message out that cigarettes are bad. You did a great job, particularly there's been some kind of difference with African American kids over the last 20 years where cigarette smoking has actually decreased compared to other races. So now they're taking it to a next level. And the next level is e-cigarettes to teenagers. You can see the little boy over there with his bird chest. Y'all see that? And they have someone that's probably, she look about 40 years old, don't she? And she's a little bit, you know, overweight. And the little boy up here with his bird chest talking about no regrets, you know? And then grandma in the middle. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what that means. Y'all may know what that finger means, but I'm a Christian person. I don't know those things. But I'm sure this is geared towards juveniles, right? And then they're taking it to the next level. They're just showing just the private part. They don't want to show the face no more in the commercials. And they're stating, what does it say? Slim, charged, and ready to go. All of those things are geared towards young adults. And with that, let's talk about electronic cigarettes. Novel battery-operated inhaler devices that, again, provide nicotine and often without tobacco smoke. And recent studies have revealed that 63% of non-smoking boys were aware of e-cigarettes compared to their former smoking, which was 68%, and 76% of their counterparts as far as who were current smokers. Now, although some of these companies state that these are safe products and help you to quit smoking, there's no longitudinal data or clinical trials that support these facts and arguments that is actually safer. And in fact, the FDA stated that they do have carcinogenic and poisonous chemicals in these particular e-cigarettes. Now, we did a study with about 50 kids. Well, I say kids meaning up to about 21. And some of the things that they talked about was accessibility. Excuse my language, but these are the things that they stated. You are badass because you smoke it. You can smoke it anywhere. They're healthier than cigarettes. These are the things that they think. Odorless, high social approval, and they can conceal it. You can put it in your pocket without being caught. If there are no teacher around, you don't have to take the time to light it up. So when you look at this study, some of the questions we asked is, why do youth use electronic cigarettes? And they stated because of expeditious consumption and concealment. That was 40% of the population, as well as high social approval. Where are the places that you use electronic cigarettes? They said everywhere. They're in the school bathroom, take it out of their pocket, hit it real quick at home, in their house. You know, they could be in your bathroom, they can be in their rooms and smoke it, and odorless again, and they go ahead and get a hit and just go ahead and put it back in their pockets. School stairways, and even in the cafeteria. What do your friends think about it? They think it's cool, it's new, it's something that's novel. And they also feel that it's healthier than cigarettes. And why are they so popular is because they're healthier than cigarettes, as well as accessibility. Now, this is another drug, which is Viagra. Y'all know kids are using that now? Yeah, they are. Examples of Viagra. We have prolonged enhancement, television, that's where they got it from, sexual enhancement, and sporting events. And again, they're targeting young boys and males with this particular substance. Y'all see it with all of the different sports advertisements, and guess where they're getting it from? They're getting it from grandpa. Not grandma, I hope not. But maybe grandma's giving it to them, I don't know. And so with that, how old were you when you first took Viagra? 18, 17, 16. Why do you believe that you took Viagra the first time? Curiosity, peer pressure, sexual enhancement. Who was with you the first time that you used Viagra? They said friends. Now, friends could mean a lot of things. But again, most of them said their girlfriends, and their girlfriends were asking them to take it. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Where did you get it from? They got it from friends, but see, then they're getting it from dad and older family members and their grandfathers. That's where they're getting it from. So when we asked them, where did you hear about it? They heard about it from their older family members talking about it. Grandpop talking crazy, you know. I'm back on the back on the block. You know, y'all see them in the clubs for the younger people with the little derby hats on. Little, you know, yellow derby hats, little yellow ones, green. Where did you hear about it again? Television advertisements for number one. And what are the dangerous consequences? And it's enhancement, dizziness, and uncomfort. These are some of the advertisements that are on TV, and we're talking about addictions and the sexual component to addictions. You know, I don't know why they always do this, but for some reason they always put a tub with no water in it. I don't know why they always have that in the commercials. You know? And my thing is, why just have one tub? Don't have two tubs. If you're gonna have to use the Viagra, put two people in one tub. You know? So again, these are some of the advertisements that they're using. Comeback Player of the Year, all of this kind of stuff. Codeine promethazine. Anybody ever heard of that before? Sipping on some syrup? Yeah. Cesar, I'm considered to be the national expert on this. Codeine promethazine has 3 different substances, and it's a major problem amongst minority populations. And again, you have promethazine, which is kind of like an antihistamine. You have alcohol, which is a depressant, and then you have an opiate. And they use this substance as a cocktail, and it's heavily endorsed and popular amongst kids. If you go into a bar and you come up to somebody and you say you need to stop drinking, that would have low social approval. Again, this substance has that kind of approval in our communities. So with sex, we ask kids, about 200, have you ever used different kinds of drugs? And those who stated that they had used codeine promethazine in the last month, 42% were having sex. These are the kind of correlations that you have to look at and to realize what we need to target as far as with our addictions and drugs and some of the other behaviors that go along with it. Also, some of the things that go on with cocaine users. And we asked them, did they use codeine? It was highly for those who had a main partner. It was significantly lower. In other words, those who used codeine promethazine didn't have as many main partners. And also, it was higher for those who traded sex for money. Now, when you think about drugs and sex, why would a person use cocaine and then use codeine? Again, it is because when you have sex, you may want to get up. And then after all of these negative experiences as a sex worker, you may need the codeine promethazine to come down from those experiences. So here we go again with the kids. They know codeine is an issue. So now corporate America with corporate greed wants to come in and have these little drinks that have valerian roots, quasi-codeine, and put it in the stores for kids. Purple stuff, which is the name for codeine promethazine. Lean, sipping syrup, drink, and give you a quasi-opiate feel and target this to kids. I was on actually a local television show talking about this stuff that's in our communities and these companies that are basically targeting kids with these substances. And a parent came up to me and she said that her kid just wanted a grape soda and went into the store. She didn't know, and she said sure. And she had him drinking this purple stuff with valerian roots and everything in it. But this is the kind of stuff that kids have access to and that corporations would want to give our kids you know, to start them off. And actually we did a study that showed that people who drank this, kids that drank these particular substances, actually were significantly higher to actually want codeine promethazine. So it could be a gateway to codeine promethazine. Everybody wants the real thing, right? You know, I know that somebody in here had a purse that was a fake, you know, Gucci purse at one time, you know? And then you got that real thing, didn't y'all? When y'all could afford it, right? This is something that's made in France. And it says straight from the streets of Houston, you know. And, you know, they're trying to target kids that don't know too much about syrup and think they don't really know about the substance being codeine promethazine, and actually create another substance that they could sell and state that it's codeine promethazine. So these are examples. And now it's being targeted to college parties and diffused to all kids across America these particular drinks at parties. So now that we actually know that there's a few issues, what are some of the things that we can do? What are some strategies that we can do as professionals? What we did is we used the theory of planned behavior, and I'm not going to get into that too much, but it talks about how attitudes, subjective norms, and behavioral control leads to intentions that goes to behavior. I think, Dr. German, you did something like that on your dissertation or something like that? Okay. So with that, let's look at the beliefs. We need to target the beliefs and the attitudes and the control beliefs of our particular kids in order to make a difference. And one of the things that I learned to do very well is to use the media. The media is going to actually do things in television. They're going to try to diffuse negative messages. We can actually diffuse positive messages if it's produced properly. So most of the students who participated in the studies believed that codeine promethazine was normalized. So what we did as a strategy to change their beliefs and attitudes were to transmit local and national newspapers, large media, to parents and youth, educating them on the effects of codeine promethazine. So you could see how you can actually do press releases, and it can get on a myriad of different television, media sources to educate parents as well as communities on the problem. Some of the subjective norms. Most adolescents stated that their friends felt that it was either cool or normal to drink. So instead of having people who are experts, we had people that they believed in, hip-hop artists and athletes and so forth, to talk about their particular issues. As you can see, whenever there was a television media piece, they always want to put one race. African Americans have a problem. Put African American kids. No, we're going to put every nationality up there, and these are all kids that have been affected by codeine promethazine, and have them from all different races as a part of it, as well as some of the other major rap artists that take a stand on hip hop. From hip hop to talk about codeine promethazine, and actually do stories of the effects to kids, as well as local stars. And then, of course, some of the rappers and people in the rap industry. This is ESG, if anybody is a rap artist, knows about this particular rap artist. As well as you've seen on television, Drugs Incorporated. This is a gentleman was on there that talked about codeine promethazine and provided information to communities and kids. Well, then we talk about some of the control beliefs, where they said it would be difficult because it actually was so accessible to the community. So we worked with the DEA and the Houston Drug Abuse Task Force to actually, get the people who were the doctors and the pharmacists that were actually selling this stuff to communities. I got a call from a gentleman when it was on the USA Today, and he said to me, say, I didn't know what this meant, but he said, say, dog, you got me on blast. I said, what do you mean? What does blast mean? He said, say, dog, you got me on blast. So he had some very serious charges, and I said, I'll work and talk with the, write a letter to the judge on your behalf if you start coming into communities and talk to kids. So we started partnering and so forth, and worked together to educate kids, as him as a pharmacist, to actually, as a person who was actually caught up in the game, the effects on the actual kids in the community and so forth. So that's it for me right now, but I'd like to end by stating that a Yiddish survivor of the Holocaust had once said, don't be afraid of your enemies, for they can only kill. Don't be afraid of your friends, for they can only betray. But do be afraid of the indifferent, for they allow the killers and the betrayers to roam freely on earth. I just think that there's a lot of people in this room that are not indifferent, that are not going to let kids just suffer, that are going to take a stand and not just watch people suffer. And I'd like to thank you all for being a part of this conference, for giving me the opportunity to speak, for working with these great people, working with my student, Dr. Lavandra German. And y'all enjoy yourselves for the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Peters, for your wonderful presentation. At this time, I'd like to present you with an Arkansas Travelers Award. Arkansans have long been known for their hospitality and their love of their beautiful state. This certificate expresses the state's regard for individuals whose contributions to the progress, enjoyment, or well-being of the state of Arkansas merit special recognition. So we present to you today this Arkansas Traveler Award.
Thank you, Dr. Lee.
And each year, the Minority Initiative Service Recipient Grant Office presents an award to one of our community organizations whose staff has voted that works diligently to achieve their objectives for the year and that goes above and beyond to reach their target audience. And today I'd like to present the subgrantee of the year to In His Image Youth Development Center. I believe she left with her youth. She is the coordinator for Team Beast that you all saw earlier today, and so we will get her award to her. At this time, I would like Dr. Calvin Johnson to join me as we recognize a man that has worked tirelessly in the background to ensure that we carry out the mission of reducing the impact tobacco has in minority communities. In appreciation for dedicated service to the 15% Set Aside Advisory Board, we'd like to present this award to Mr. Carlos Cervantes.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate you.
Well, I asked him if I caught him off guard last year when I kind of felt like it was time to move on. I've been sitting on the board for about 7 years or so. And consequences that happened in my life that it was time to start trimming a little bit of activities and concentrate on myself. So I rose to the occasion. I said, I think it's time for me to move on and have other Latinos come up to the plate and see what kind of ideas they can put forth for this organization. One of the ones that I'm real proud of is that mini grant that we set up that it's gone very well with small communities. So I just want to thank you very much for this. I'm honored. Caught me off guard, and you know, I like that too. You know that, don't you? But thank you very much, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
At this time, I'd like to pay special recognition to our sponsors, Arkansas Sophie and the Arkansas Cancer Coalition. And if any of those organizations are represented here, would you please stand? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. Also, I would like to thank the Planning Committee, the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff's TV department, Mr. Randy Kelly, who's been here in the background, often unrecognized, but just going about doing his work. Ms. Markia Heron, our tech support, Advantage Communications, all of our volunteers, our photographers. Thank you to all who are here, our speakers and participants. A special thank you. And at this time, we'd like to recognize if someone has a birthday today. Would you please stand? There was one lady here earlier from Brinkley, but I know she went back with her youth. It was her birthday today. So I'm going to say if you've had a birthday this week, would you please stand? You may take an arrangement off of the table when you leave. Okay. And anyone else that's celebrating a birthday in the month of May, you may also have an arrangement when you leave. No, May. Okay. Oh, Cinco de Mayo. At this time, I'd like to thank you all for attending, and this concludes the National Research Symposium as well as the Cleaning the Air and Communities of Color Conference. Thank you so much.